be kind to yourself, acknowledge your strengths, and acknowledge the areas that you struggle in. So not all of us are the same. We've got to work with what we're good at, and don't be discouraged by other people. Some people might do check-ins and stuff like that as for themselves, for accountability and stuff. That can be really demoralizing for other people. Just block them out. Focus on yourself. And someone's disappointed that they only wrote 1,000 words today. It's holy fuck. The most I've ever written in one day was 1,100 words, and that took me 14 hours in the chair. I was not well after that. That's just not healthy. It's not sustainable for myself. So just know your limitations, know what works for you, and just keep at it. Just be kind to yourself.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Author Adjacent, a show about the journey from hobbyist writer to professional author. I'm your host, and today I am sitting with a brand new guest, Kenneth Feller, author of the Outsiders of Orkland. Welcome to the show, Kenneth.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. I'm glad we could arrange this. You had reached out to me when I was outside of the country, so I'm glad we could bring it together and actually schedule this because I know we got a lot going on. But for starting us off here, could you please, just give a short introduction into Kenneth? Who are you, and what is the Outsiders of Orkland?
I'm an author from New Zealand. It's my book, The Outsiders of Orkland. So, about myself, I have a Bachelor of Science in Biology. I got that. I was living in Christchurch during the earthquakes, moved over to Melbourne as a result, lived there for about 12 years. So I've got experience in both New Zealand and Australia. And after the whole COVID sort of stuff, kind of reassessed my priorities, wanted to be closer to family. So moved back to New Zealand. So I'm there now. And during that time between the just before COVID hit, that's when I started writing, and I finished off my book and published in New Zealand. And so it's a culmination of a whole bunch of experiences and ideas and kind of things that are unique to this part of the world, really.
Yeah, from what I've learned about it, from talking to people and such, that it is heavily inspired by like Australia and New Zealand and your own experiences with like going through growing up in that area. I've also been told and read that it is very foul-mouthed and fun.
I don't know how this is like perceived internationally, but yeah, like Australia in particular, it's kind of like the vernacular there tends to be quite heavy with the foul language. And like when I went and wrote this book, I used the voices that I'm surrounded by, and and so it's just like putting my language into this book, and it is what it is. I went in completely unfiltered, and I got to the end of it. I was actually thinking, should I go back and just tone it down a bit? And then I was kind of like, no, because it's I understand that the international perspective of the Australian dialect in particular is quite can be quite crude and abrasive, but the characters that are the most crude and abrasive, I mean, that is the whole point. It's like I'm trying to show the humanity of these characters, even though they are the way they are. So we all come from different walks of life, and we all deserve our safety and security and our comforts and family and our rights and everything like that. So it's like by by challenging the reader with this harsh language and stuff, kind of like what is important? Is it like sure their language is harsh in that, but is that what's important, or is it their rights that are important? Because the same group of people in the story, they are fighting for democracy, their own rights and everything. So you think of any sort of group of people, typically the underprivileged people, they are looked down on by the higher up in society. So it just using language as a tool to kind of convey that kind of what I was going for. I'm not sure if I hit the mark or not. Now I know it's not going to really be appreciated by a lot of people, especially outside of Australia and New Zealand, are probably going to look at it as like, yeah, this is too much for me, and just put it aside. But it was an artistic decision, and I stick by it.
No, that's excellent. Like it, you write what you know. That's how you really start out. And as you get more experience, at least what I've noticed from authors that I've read thoroughly is the more experience that they get, the further out they can get from their own experience about writing about different things and doing it well. But it makes sense to start with what you know.
Yeah, and there's the other thing too. I write from what I know because I don't see it anywhere else. Like typically, when you're reading fantasy and that, it's all medieval Europe, or like people are writing. I mean, most English speakers are based in the US and North America and that, like different cultures. And it's like I don't see my culture, my voices in fantasy, and I just kind of wanted to bring that in. And yeah, it like my book is kind of like a it's both a tribute to and shits on Lord of the Rings. So, because yeah, I
I
mean,
was
like
not expecting those words to come out of your mouth.
yeah,
That's great.
but I mean, yeah, like so that was kind of the concept going into writing this book was like just New Zealand, Lord of the Rings. It's just these two things that people put together. Because yeah, the movies were filmed here, but New Zealand is not medieval Europe, so that's kind of I just wanted to push back on that, and um, it's called the Outsiders of Orkland. So Auckland with orcs, Auckland, New Zealand. Yeah. Yeah. Some people don't make that connection, so there it is. Um,
Yeah, I saw a review video where someone was briefly talking about it. I can't remember his name. I got it on your
Chris.
website where he was talking. Yes, and
Yeah.
he got it live while he was recording, and that was just amusing to watch him make that connection.
Yeah, that light bulb moment. Yeah, I had a laugh at that. Yeah, like it was a really touching review, that one. Um, yeah, like my mother had absolutely no intention of reading my book because like she knew what the sort of I had mentioned the sort of stuff that was in there, and like I just shared that review, and then she was like, oh, and she I was kind of almost horrified that she went out and read the first 12 sample chapters online. I was like, "Hey, do you want to read the rest of it?" It
Did
was like,
she?
yeah, she did, and she enjoyed it.
Oh, that's
But
excellent.
yeah, it's I don't really you can't really put much weight on your parents' opinion because my view on that is at some point in your life, your parents congratulated you for taking a shit. So the same could be said with art and that. So yeah, it's just
That's
like,
very
okay,
fair.
cool.
We can't trust them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but
So
so it sounds like you have you said the first 12 chapters available as like a little teaser. Is that still true?
11 or 12. Yeah, it's like because like of the language and just the nature of my story and that I thought it best to put up like it's about 11-12% of the book. It's just up on my website. It's the illustrated version as well, so you've got like the sketches and stuff too. So yeah, it just anyone wanting to get like a have like a litmus test or whatever to see if it's for them, it's there. You don't have to sign up to my newsletter or anything. It's just you just click on the button, send you straight to an e-reader online, and that's with Book Funnel if you're familiar with that. So yeah, so yeah, I just wanted it to be as accessible as possible, so you can make your own mind up whether you go and check out the rest of it and everything, and also it's available on like Libby as well, so library services. So just
I
again
love
making it
Libby.
accessible. Yeah,
Yeah, Livy is a great application. But yeah, people, we'll have that link down below if you want to check it out. We'll have his website down there if you want to check out the first 10, 11% of the book, see if it's really your thing. Because right now it sounds pretty funny and very heartfelt. Um, but just to do like a brief overview, for this episode, we're just going to be going back and forth, kind of shooting the shit, talking whatever we want to talk about with yourself, your author journey, and your book. And people tune back in next week. We're actually going to be digging more into character relationships and how people in real life and in books kind of connect and have some friction against each other. So we'll see how that goes. But for this episode, what I wanted to ask you, you touched on it a little bit earlier, was what triggered this passion for writing for you? You said right before COVID, you kind of got the bug and started the book.
Yeah,
But was there a particular moment, or was it something you kind of held on to for a long time?
it was a particular moment. So, okay, I could start all the way back to the beginning. Like the writing journey is usually associated with the reading journey. So,
Wherever you like, we're here.
yeah, so I got completely turned off of reading when I started high school. So I was 13 years old, high school English teacher, total literary snob, and I was kind of like, transitioning from that stage of, like middle grade books to, adult sort of books and that. And the books that I was getting was like this, it was boring shit. It was poetry and this high level, yeah, it was up its own ass. It was pompous. I did not like it one bit. So there, I was just like, okay, I guess now that I'm older now, adult books just suck. So that it turned me off a lot. Also, shortly after that, Lord of the Rings gets released, and of course, that kind of got my interest. It's like, maybe I'll try out Lord of the Rings. That was boring as shit as well. So I know
The
this
books or the movies?
the books.
Okay.
The movies, I love the movies, but yeah, so I know this is absolute blasphemy, like a Kiwi and a fantasy
Hmm.
nerd saying that Lord of the Rings is boring as shit, but that is my opinion, and it's not that it's wrong or right or anything, it's just my experience with the book. So,
No, that's very fair.
yeah, so that again, it's just like, okay, yep, adult books just suck. So I had that opinion for about 17 years. So I I still consumed stories. So I've always been a lover of fantasy and stories and that. So like I kind of had a about a 17-year fixation on games, PlayStation. So things like Final Fantasy 7 through 10. Yeah. Yeah, movies. I love movies, so I'm always, consuming stories and that, and like the stories I tend to gravitate towards. Like I like animation. Just the freedom and the just the bombastic nature of animation is fantastic. So like my favorites would be like Rick and Morty, The Venture Bros, Metalocalypse, Avatar: The Last Airbender. So yeah. So all great stuff, and you can probably see like those influences in my book as well. So yeah, so I mean that long without reading, and so I was living in Melbourne at the time, and my brother, he is very much younger than me. He was 17 at the time. Yes, I have to do the math. I think that's right. So he was in his final year of high school, and he like I have autism. He has autism. He has a different like his own brand of autism, and the the school curriculum didn't really suit his needs. So the teacher kind of like this was for art. Kind of gave him a project that he would be interested in, that get him working. So the project he was given was create a children's book. So he was like, "Yep, keen." And his strengths lies with art, not with stories. So he kind of shot a message off to the family and said, "Hey, can someone write me a story that can be turned into a children's book?" So I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a go." So 2 afternoons spent after work just smashing out a dumb little story on my phone, sent that through, and yeah, it was like that just kind of I liked the way that used my brain. So I was like, yeah, like 2 weeks after that moment, I just rolled out of bed and thought, fuck it, I'm going to write a novel. So,
What a lovely way to jump into the literary world.
yeah. But yeah, the crazy thing is, like, after, like, I did that and, like, my natural progression was like, okay, I need to, start world building and that. And like, as I was world building, it turns out, the teachers, the principal at the school, they actually liked the story, they liked the art that was going with it. So they actually went and published that as that children's book. So
That's super
technically,
cool.
I was a published author before I started writing my novel. So
That's super cool.
yeah, so it's kind of validating in a way, but at the same time, it's like it's a very different skill set smashing out a dumb little kid's book on my phone in 2 days compared to the 6 years it took me to write a friggin' novel. So,
Six
yeah,
years is
so,
not the longest I've heard either. I've heard people taking over a decade to
yes,
get that first novel out.
yeah. So, yeah, it was a journey, and especially coming from a place of I haven't read a book in 17 years to just like, I want to write a book because I like the way it uses my brain. So, I spent ages like YouTube especially just like I always find the best way to learn to do something is to learn how not to do something. So I was watching a lot of YouTube videos on like how not to write a book, how not to present characters, how you know that sort of thing. So I can get those really icky and awkward things out of the way, so I can learn the more advanced sort of stuff. So yeah, I've spent hundreds of hours of watching YouTube videos, like things like this, podcasts, and just absorbing all the information I could, and then just applying it into my own work. Like I'm taking the things that that resonated with me and nailing that in my own work. And it wasn't until after I was writing for about a year or two that I decided maybe I should be reading books to actually, so I know what I like and what I don't like. And yeah, it was a rough start, because like again, just the way my brain functions, I bounce off of a lot of books just because I either find them too bloated, too slow, um too poetic. It's just like for me, poetry just triggers something in my brain that is it just makes me angry. Um like I
That's
I,
the opposite
I
effect of what poetry should be doing.
yeah, well, I don't know. It's
That's wonderful.
because I have that scientific background and like the best scientific writings are very to the point. They don't fluff around. The best form of communication is clear and concise, and poetry is the exact opposite of that. You're like doing all this fancy bullshit with words and stuff. It's like I don't want to do that. I don't like that. And so whenever I read poetic prose, it just makes me so fucking angry.
So,
Yeah,
what kind of books do you read right now?
good question. Because like I've talked all this negative sort of stuff about regarding books, and yeah, I've like read YouTube darlings that are like it's like, oh, this book is awesome. Try to read them. This is shit. Um, I I think the first book that I read that was actually like, wow, okay, books can actually be cool. Was Kings of the Wild. So
Oh,
yeah, so Nicholas
good
Adams.
pick.
So he's a big inspiration for me. He's self-admittedly a slow writer as well. I struggle to put words on a page. Like every day is a struggle to get words down. But he's one of those guys I kind of look up to. Is just like, yeah, he admits that he has trouble with his word counts and stuff, but he keeps going, and he's put out some great books. Two of them, but still they're awesome. And yeah, so I mean, it was that book that kind of made me realize, like, yes, books can be great, and it kind of like reinforced that the idea that what I was doing was I'm on the right path. I can be successful, might be a strong word, but it is. I have a framework that I can go with, because I wanted to have my books um, reflective of the type of stories and the way stories are told in writing. So just in a different medium. So like, as I was saying, those shows that I like, things like the Venture Bros, Rick and Morty, Metalocalypse. So having that style of storytelling in a book form, instead of having this bloated, fancy bullshit that I don't like.
I'm getting a good like gauging in for like your humor and the type of things that you like, because it sounds like I like a lot of different things. So I would never suggest to you to read ML Wong, because that sounds like a bunch of bullshit that you would hate. But I would suggest to you, if you haven't tried it already, is Dungeon Crawler Carl,
Yes, yes. So
another
that
YouTube darling.
yeah, so that is one I absolutely adore. Jeff Hayes as
Oh,
the
I was
narrator
worried
as
what you were gonna
well.
say.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. So other books that I've got like a page on the website of just like books I'd recommend. So
Oh,
again,
nice.
I write to people like me, I assume, because I write for myself. So I have a page of like books that I like. So these would be books that I would suggest. So other ones would be JCM Byrne. So The Wistful Ascending. So just
Yeah, Joe's great.
yeah. So I love the tone, and like the positivity he's got in his books and that. Um, Tatiana Obi. So it's just the
I've heard
samurai.
her. I haven't tried her.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I've seen those books around the internet, but I haven't had a chance to check them out yet.
Yeah, so I love her books just because the passion for what she writes just bounces off the page, and she's got her own voice as well, and that is something I love, and that's like something that I'm trying to do with my own books as well, is having that unique voice come through. And yeah, another one, The Crew by Sadir S. Samir. I think that's the name. So again, this is one that it's an indie fantasy that's kind of got very much Kings of the Wild sort of vibes to it. So yeah. So I mean, there are plenty of books out there, and that I do enjoy, and I find I need my books to have more of a casual tone, and they need to be fun. But having said that, I also do dive into some of the darker fantasies every now and then. But I find I need that palate cleanser every now and then. So I do need that those fun books. And
Yeah, Andy is
uh,
another great like action writer.
sorry, who?
Andy Peliquin?
Right. I tried. I bounced off.
Oh, okay. I must have
Yeah.
misheard you. I thought you were talking about Andy Peliquin.
Yeah. I did give his books a go, but yeah, that was yeah. It's again, I need my books to be concise, and he writes chonkers.
And he
So
writes them so fast too.
sometimes you want to be able to enjoy a book, and it can be the littlest things that just really put you off, or it can be an accumulation of little things, and like I mean, yeah, it's just something we have to accept, that like I mean, I've got a very focused sort of taste, so I kind of I can appreciate people who have that broad taste in books. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like, because I've got such that narrow taste, I want to bring positive messages to like a different audience, because you know, your fun books can be limited in scope as well. The message, like if they even exist, might be limited. So yeah, I mean the book I wrote is like um, it felt like something that only I could write. So having a message, showing characters the way they live and exist and interact with each other, and like presenting that to a different audience. So different voices, unique perspectives, just sharing that.
Don't worry about like having a niche focus of interest too, because like not every book is meant for every person. Like I think that's something really important for us to remember as like writers and authors is not everybody is going to love what I made. And it's not even going to be because it's bad. It's going to be because we just don't have the same interests. And that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean,
Uh
death metal orcs.
why
It's
not?
yeah.
Something I did want to ask you is so you've been writing for over 6 years to get this first book out, technically your second, if we're counting it right with the
Yeah,
first one.
technically, yeah.
But at what point did you feel like I am an author?
Kind of cheated because like the difference between being a writer and author is whether you have a book that's published, and I had a published book like when I started writing my novel. So technically, I was an author as I was drafting. So
Great
like
job.
yeah,
You're ahead of the curve.
yeah. So it's just like yeah. In technical terms, I was already there, but still, I had a moment when I finished my. I went through my draft about 3.5 times before I finally felt like this is it. I have a complete story, and that's where kind of like I had this moment. And I was just like, I don't know, the title, the identity as author didn't change, but I've had a sense of accomplishment regardless. That I've finished a book and I'm happy with the story. So that was a moment, but it wasn't an identity sort of moment.
No, that's still nice. I've noticed that I ask everybody that question. To me, it's one of the most important questions that I ask in every interview. And for every single person, it's different. And I think that's so interesting because the difference between like a writer and an author is arbitrary. Like a lot of people do the same as you, where it's like you have a published book, you're an author. And for some people, they've published 10 books and they're like, I still don't feel like an author. I'm like, how? You've done so much.
The having that title author as an identity, I think that's yeah. I think whatever resonates with you is what's truth. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So when you were coming up with Outsiders of Orkland, uh, how did you approach developing the initial idea? Like, how did you go from you wrote this children's tale? How did you start to discovering what your story would be about?
I mentioned before, but I just always had that idea knocking around in my skull, just like New Zealand is not medieval Europe. I wanted a fantasy that was that felt like New Zealand, had that New Zealand vibe to it. And the other component is Lord of the Rings. So there is like a Lord of the Rings component to my book, but that's kind of like something that happened 100 years ago on the other side of the world, in this continent. So basically, Lord of the Rings was like World War Two. Um, and Gandalf was Hitler, so it's telling like the story from like the other side of the war. So,
Okay.
uh,
I wasn't
yeah,
ready for that.
yeah, there is some bizarre shit in my book, man. It's just, yeah, it's,
That's all right. Keep going. I'm here for it. I'm here
yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
So, yeah, the other thing I mentioned is just orcs are cool. So, yeah, there's, and also the other thing that was knocking around in my head is there is a lot of metal and death metal that is inspired by Lord of the Rings. So you got bands like Amon and Marth, Burzum, Gorgoroth, Summoning. So basically, the idea for my world building was taking, like, getting my inspiration from the metal that was inspired by Lord of the Rings instead of taking direct inspiration from Lord of the Rings. So it does have those darker elements and just the tongue-in-cheek sort of darkness that you get with death metal and black metal. Just yeah, we are like a bit of a kooky bunch when it comes down to it, and we're nerds in our own right. So
Oh, 100%. I have never met a metalhead that wasn't a nerd about something else.
yeah,
100%. Whether it's like Magic the Gathering, D&D, or just fantasy or sci-fi in general, it's just almost every single one I've ever met.
yeah, yeah, sure. So yeah, so it's just taking those three components. So Lord of the Rings, just the New Zealand and Australia sort of components, and death metal, and just smashing it all together into this cohesive world. And that's kind of what I wanted, is not just having like these disjointed ideas just thrown in there. I wanted everything to feel like a natural evolution, and it's just it just is, you know.
So you mentioned earlier like one of the hardest things that you were working through is just like getting words onto the page. Was that the greatest challenge that you have traversed while being an author so far? And if not, what was it?
Yeah, I don't know if this is specifically an autism thing or just a me thing, but yeah, like my word count, my words on a page, um, I write about 70 words an hour. So that is, I know that is ridiculously slow. So to get my book out, to get words on a page, it was just time. I had to put in so much time. So I was just everything that I was doing. Also, hundreds of hours of YouTube learning the craft, and then actually writing books, writing my story as well. And as I said, I wrote my book about 3.5 times, and I have a 90,000 word ish book. So um, over a period of a week, I'd spend about 30 hours at my desk writing, and after those 30 hours, I'd have like 2,000 words. So it is like it can be off-putting and disheartening, and all that negative shit when you have other people that like crap out 2,000 words in an hour. I'm just like, fuck you, you know. So yeah, it was an absolute battle, but it just keeping at it, just keeping at it, trying to like uh focusing on me, my capabilities, and like trying to be kind to myself as well, like knowing my limitations and where I struggle and stuff. So yeah, so I'm like doing these 40-hour days, 40-hour weeks, as well as the 30 hours of writing, like, ass and chair, smashing away at keys just to get 2,000 words, and just doing that week after week after week. And I mean, yeah, I was doing that through COVID. I mean, COVID is a great time to be doing that, because if I didn't have my writing, I don't know how I would have got through COVID, because I was living in Australia in a house by myself, so I didn't have any of that social interaction. So like I think the only face to face conversation I'd have with anyone for like an entire week would be like the lady behind the deli counter at the local shopping centre. So yeah, I mean it was brutal, but yeah, like if I didn't have my book, I would have completely lost my shit. Yeah,
Oh, I'm glad you had that project to keep you focused.
oh
And
yeah, for sure.
I think you really hit on something very important, and that is being kind to yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, because I know, like, I personally, when I catch myself slacking off or I'm not reaching the goals that I want, it is very easy to fall into that really negative self-talk. Be like, come on, man, you're better than this. Why aren't you doing the thing you said you're gonna do? But you got to be kind to yourself. You got to be understanding that you're a human being with limitations, like you said, and that you can give the effort that you have to give. And I think that's really important to remember. So there were a lot of people that got like came out of COVID with a COVID book, and this is definitely qualifies. But congratulations, man!
Uh,
It's awesome to get it out there.
yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, technically, I did start before COVID,
Hmm.
but it definitely kept me going through COVID, and it kept me going like after I moved home. So yeah,
Cool. I'm glad
yes,
it helped. Like I'm glad you had something because everybody needed something to get through all of that, whether it was that tiny bit of social interaction or some kind of project or something to do. It was rough. Um, so you were talking about the challenge is just getting the words down and trying to just consistently do so. Is it accurate to say that your solution was mostly just dedication and nose to the grindstone, or did you have any particular technique that would help you fall into the story?
I think going into it knowing what needed to be done. I mean that helps, but that's not the be all end all. Like I plot. I plot heavily. I have to know every aspect of my story before I can go in and commit to putting words on a page. Um, but even when I have that framework to work from, um, I can still struggle getting words on a page because it's like, okay, this is what needs to happen in the story. These are the sort of interaction my characters need to have, but it's everything else around it that I can struggle with. It's just like, okay, what words do I use to describe this stuff? And it's like, oh yeah, just do your draft zero, just smash that out. It's like, yeah, I've already got that. I need to flesh it out. I'm struggling fleshing it out, making co like coherent sentences. Um, I mean, I struggle enough with that shit day to day. So it's like, just like that, but on page, and I'm trying to make everything readable. So it's just a challenge in itself.
You're doing great. Like, so far, I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time?
Yeah, yeah,
We'll keep going. Keep kicking
yeah,
ass at it. So we talked a little bit about the books that you enjoy reading earlier. Would you say Kings of the Wild is a book that really influenced your book, or is there a different one more specific that you really drew a lot from besides Lord of the Rings that we've mentioned earlier?
yeah. I mean, Lord of the Rings was more of a an anti-inspiration sort of thing. It's just kind of like taking Lord of the Rings and then just like dumping it on its head sort of thing.
Hey, I think that
And,
counts.
yeah, in terms of inspiration from other sources, other books, and that, I would say it was more from the programs that I watch. So in terms of tone and just that inserting that humor, um, but in terms of character work and prose, I'd say Joe Abercrombie. So just that limited third person perspective and having the prose being affected by that character that you're following. So if you do get around to reading my book, you find that the prose is heavily affected by the character that you're following. So it is so you are so inside this character's head that the narration is influenced by the character that you're following. Um, so I have a variety of characters. Some of them are more crass than others. So the ones that are crass, even the narration is just like full of shit, just full of swearing and just the way they describe the world and stuff is just it's a lot more crude. But at the same time, like coming from that scientific background, I do have a character that is a doctor. So they they are a lot more formal in their prose. So and they have a drier wit if they do get around to cracking a joke. So yeah, like it's just these different aspects of myself kind of showing through in these different characters. So I'd say like those grey states that I have kind of shows through in that doctor character, like um, those times where I struggle mentally or kind of become numb to the world. So that shows through in this one character, and like in other ones, it's just like they're just loose units. So there is a very there's a massive mix, and like you know how you create your characters. Because my first book, I'm just taking elements of myself, breaking them up into tiny bits, and then like taking certain traits and just cranking them up to 11 or dialing them back, or taking them on a completely different tangent, just to create unique individuals.
As authors, we do leave a lot of ourselves onto the page. I can't remember who said the quote or what exactly the quote is, so I'm going to paraphrase the shit out of it and probably fuck it up a lot. But it's something along the lines of like, writing a story is the easiest thing in the world to do. Just sit down and bleed onto the page. And I read that for the first time and I was like, God damn, that's right. Like, I love that. So you definitely do leave yourself in your characters, just piece. I love the way you describe that. You broke off pieces of yourself to create these characters. Good shit. Love that. So your book is out. You have a regular day job. You have your family that you have to attend and spend time with. How do you manage to balance between all of these responsibilities and continuing to write and continuing to promote your current book?
At the moment, I'm still trying to find that balance because I struggle with new stuff. And at the moment, I'm dealing with a lot of new stuff. So marketing is like an entirely new beast to me. So I'm kind of like stuck in that marketing mindset. So I will get back to writing eventually. I just need to find that right balance first. So I work best with routines. So yeah, at the moment, I don't have a very good structure, so I just need to find that structure before I can be able to put aside that time to be creative again. Because being creative takes a lot of energy, and I know some people they just bounce from one thing to the other like real easy. Again, this is one of those limitations I have is I need that structure to be able to like once I've got that structure, I'm comfortable with the routines and the structures. It's like okay, I am able to switch off this part of my brain because that's done. Now I can focus on this. So at the moment, everything's kind of bleeding together, and like my focus is yeah, it's kind of fixated on all these new things, which is taking up a lot of brain space. So yeah, again, it's one of those things you got to be kind to yourself. So with writing, when I had my full time job and everything, it's just I had my routine. I was able to I was working like if you take the times that I was working and like doing my writing and putting them together, 70 hours per week, man, that's a lot of time of working and stuff. But I think back now, it's just like, yeah, I had that structure, it was possible, but now I don't have that structure, and it's like everything falls apart. So it's just I need to get that balance again, get back into it. So again, it's one of those things. I know my limitations. I've got to be kind to myself, and I will get there eventually. It's just it will happen. It will happen at some point.
Hey, I believe you. I agree. It is really hard to rebuild that momentum, that structure, that routine once you kind of fall off it, because you do it for a while it serves you. But once the book is done, you now have to shift. You have to learn all these new things about promoting, doing these interviews. Again, thank you for coming onto the show. And it is really hard to like get back into that routine once you've stopped all that momentum. Like I'm very much a planner. I like my routines as well. It's something that my wife and I have to do a lot of give and take because like I like structure. I like to know what we're doing, and she likes the spontaneity and just the let's go do this thing, and we got to figure out those things. But I definitely hear you that that routine really helps you get the words onto the page, and without it, it's really hard to.
When I was writing, it's like just sitting in my chair and like, okay, I'm gonna write a sentence or two, or just like jot some ideas down. And as soon as you do that, next thing you know, a couple of hours has gone by and you've got more words on the page than what you would have thought of. So yeah, that's great. But yeah, right now it's just that gear shift is I sit down in the chair, try to put those words out, and it's just like the gears are stuck. Like there is like I need to come up with these ideas, and it's like you're trying to put that pressure to get ideas down. It's just not happening. It's like, okay, I'm not in the right mindset for this. I need to go away, come back to it later when I'm in a better headspace. So yeah, again, be kind to yourself.
Good attitude. Yeah, good attitude. We are nearing the end of our time for this first episode, but I did want to ask you one more question before we start closing out. You've gone through this journey before now. You're further along the path than a lot of us are, and we hope to join you at your stage someday. So what advice would you share to aspiring authors who are just beginning their own writing journey?
Mentioned it a dozen times before. I'll say it again. Be kind to yourself. Acknowledge your strengths, and acknowledge the areas that you struggle in. So not all of us are the same. We've got to work with what we're good at, and don't be discouraged by other people. Like some people might do check-ins and stuff like that as like a for themselves, for accountability and stuff. That can be really demoralizing for other people. Just block them out. Focus on yourself. You know. Um, and yeah, like if someone's disappointed that they only wrote 1,000 words today, it's like holy fuck. I mean, the most I've ever written in one day was like 1,100 words, and that took me 14 hours in the chair. I was not well after that. That's just not healthy. It's not sustainable for myself. So yeah, just know your limitation, know what works for you, and yeah, just keep at it. Just be kind. Be kind to yourself.
Kenneth, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Could you please tell the people where can they find you? Where can they find your books?
Everything kennethfeller.com. So you can find my books there. You can, no matter where you are in the world, you can buy them from my website. So I sell direct with ebooks and the physical copies as well, print on demand stuff. So I can just shoot off anywhere. Amazon as well, but support me. Go to my website.
Go to
Yeah,
his website. It's linked down below.
yeah, and yeah, social links they're all linked there as well. So yeah, it's great having a website. Just that's your hub for everything. So that's one thing I suggest every author have is a website.
Kenneth, thank you for coming on to the show today. And folks, we will have him back on next week as we're going to be diving into character relationships. And this was awesome. Until next time, people, let's be author adjacent together. See you, folks. Dude, great job. You did excellent.